So Hardy-Weinberg, the assumption is that there's no mutation, no natural selection, and no gene flow. So this is really looking at population genetics that are isolated. So you're really looking at kind of distribution of alleles based on that structure. Or and again, watch the video on Hardy-Weinberg equilibrium to figure out kind of how to solve for the equation. But really, we're looking at also this will lead into allele frequencies and how this plays out in a population, and then what effect it actually has on that population. Gene flow is simply admixture. So this is different. This is two different populations blending. So reproducing to create new offspring. Exogamous is individuals breeding with individuals outside of the group. And again, it's an admixture. It's an exchange of genetic material between two or more groups. And this is a little bit, it also creates, it's said to create stronger DNA in terms of environmental adaptation, but also in terms of less probability of having genetic disorders. So a lot of times the genetic disorders might be in one group, and if you are endogamous and individuals breed with individuals from that group, you're more likely to pass on that genetic abnormality. So if you mix genes through this kind of gene flow idea, genes tend to be stronger, and individuals do. So essentially, there are 4 forces of evolution, or are there 6 is kind of my question here. We, in biological anthropology, really focus on the 4 forces that have been pulled out of Darwinian evolution, which are, again, natural selection, mutation, genetic drift, and gene flow. The others that Darwin describes are sexual selection and then a level of mutual aid, which is how much does group help change the course of these other things, whether it be mutation, environments that have mutagens, natural selection, genetic drift, and gene flow, because culture and social groups can override a lot of things within biology. And again, I asked this, mutual aid chapter 2 is going to be the reading for this week, so that'll also go into some other animals. And really my kind of question here is why is mutual aid left out of the conversation, right? So why is it that science has chosen these 4 forces rather than kind of adding in these other 2, right? And a lot of you probably came to the kind of conclusion that it's because they're not encouraging competition, right? That it's actually a group kind of social goal rather than an individual level goal. So there's some interesting cultural components here, and we can kind of analyze our own culture currently around individuality and sociability, and wonder why mutual aid is kind of left out, even though it's part of Darwin and his theories. Why is it left out in modern day conversation, right? So yeah, that is the end of this week's lectures. Fairly short, but you have some videos to watch. So again, have a great rest of the week.